When we talk about zombies in the unit, the usual story is about how the monster changed. It starts as a quiet field worker in Haiti, and somewhere along the line turns into a flesh eating monster that chases people across a screen. And while this is true, the more I sit with the readings, the more I felt like that's not actually the most interesting shift happening. The question I kept coming back to wasn't what are we afraid of, but instead, who's allowed to be afraid? Whose fear does the story actually care about? And once you start tracking that, the zombie stops just being a monster. It turns into this kind of measurement of power. It quietly tells you who a society thinks deserves to be scared and who it would rather not think about at all. At the beginning, the fear belongs completely to the enslaved. Willens says it best. The real nightmare was to be dead and still a slave, an eternal field hand. And I think about this line because you notice that it's a fear that happens inside of you. It's not something's out there to get me. It's I could lose my sense of self and my freedom. And you see the same thing in how the zombies behave in Seabrook and Hurston. Here's a part that surprised me the first time through. Nobody's running away from the zombies. They're not dangerous. When Polynice shows Seabrook the workers in the field, he tells them, "You'll pity them from the bottom of your heart." Pity. These zombies are the victims of the story. So the horror at this stage isn't that a zombie is going to come attack you, it's the dread that you might become one. Then the figure crosses over into white American hands, and something sneaky happens. The fear gets handed to a completely different group of people. The PBS Monstrum lecture makes this point pretty clear. It says the white zombie is the first instance of white bodies being subjected to zombification, and it calls it the heightened threat. And I just want to sit on that word, heightened, for a second. Why is a white person becoming a zombie slightly the scarier version? It's because the fear has now been re-aimed. It's pointed at the white audience. The danger is catching it, getting turned, losing control of yourself to the foreign, primitive force. And if you follow the genre forward from there, the zombie basically becomes a pure outside attacker. It's the horde that comes for you. So watch what can get lost in this move. The enslaved person's inner dread, the Willens fear, just quietly disappears. It gets swapped out for the owner's fear of contagion, fear of the thing that they built turning on them. The victim has been rewritten as the threat. This is why Get Out hit so differently for me after this unit. Peele basically takes the whole thing and flips it back to the original. The sunken place is the Haitian fear in modern clothes. It's a conscious person, fully aware, but trapped inside of a body that is a white owner. And that's not the fear of being attacked by a monster, it's the fear of being made into one, which is the exact thing Willens was describing almost 100 years earlier. And then the white characters, who in the post-white zombie tradition would normally be the ones in danger, get put right back where they actually belong in the history. They're smiling, being polite out of all of it. So Peele takes the fear off the white viewer, off the idea that the scary thing is the monster coming to get us, and he hands it back to the black protagonist. He gives the dread back to its original owner. And here's why I think this actually matters. Beyond just being a neat pattern, if you only track what we fear, the zombie just looks like it slowly got scarier and gorier over the decades. No big deal. But if you track who is allowed to be afraid, you find something a lot colder underneath. When a culture is in the business of enslaving people, it tells a story where the enslaved are the ones afraid of becoming property. But when that same culture wants to feel innocent about what it did, it rewrites the monster as an attacker, so now the descendants of the enslavers get to be victims instead of the cause. The fear gets quietly moved to whoever the story wants to sympathize with. So that's my takeaway. The zombie isn't really a stable monster at all. It's a mirror. It always shows you who a society has decided deserves to be afraid, and who it would rather forget ever had something to fear in the first place. And Get Out works as a horror precisely because it refuses to let us off the hook. It points the fear back exactly where it started.